Checking connection. Make sure that's working as well. All right, live on Instagram. Make sure I'm getting some. Okay, YouTube's on, Facebook is on. Waiting on Twitch. Come on, Twitch. Make sure it's all working. Waiting on Twitch to connect. So far, YouTube and Facebook are on. Instagram is on. Let's just check twitch.tv, see how we're at. Make sure we're broadcasting. Yes. All right, so everybody's on. All right. What's up, everybody? Hopefully, I know there's nobody in here, so I'm just going to be doing this every week, and I'm going to try to advertise it as I go. This is the first episode of something that I'd like to call the Mudshark podcast. I always wanted to start a podcast. I really didn't have a topic that I wanted to talk about or like a theme. But then I was like, man, I really love music and I love music history. And I got inspired by a podcast called Last Podcast on the Left that does like basically they do like cryptids and like crazy stories. Like they talked about Mormonism, they talk about like the Black Death, they also go into like aliens and stuff like that. And I thought it'd be cool to have like to do like bizarre stories but focused on rock and roll. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do this every week around like 5:30 p.m. Central, and I'm going to just talk about rock and roll stories. I'm going to talk about just awesome rock and roll stories, whether they were rumors, but they're all about famous people and that kind of thing. Hopefully you guys will enjoy yourself. This one has to do with the name of the podcast, the Mudshark. The topic today is called the Edgewater Inn, and I'm going to try to do this. We're live on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram. I got the chat bubble up so you can talk to me. I can try to answer questions for you if you're interested. So let's just get into the topic right away. We're talking about the Edgewater Hotel in Seattle, Washington. It's been around almost a century. It's been. Let's start. I'll just read something right off the website right here. From the Beatles and Black Sabbath to Kurt Cobain, the Edgewater is home to legends and their stories. Spanning musical genres and generations, the Edgewater has a rich history of hosting legendary bands and artists. A famous visit by the Beatles in 1964 launched the hotel into notoriety as a favorite Seattle destination among musicians that continues to this day. Most of what I'm talking about today is going to be things that, to keep it funny and interesting to me so I can have like a genuine reaction to it. I haven't read much into these articles. I've kind of browsed through them, but I want like a genuine reaction, and I also want to discuss things with you guys. Talk about the Camel. I love their song Echoes. Donko B. I don't know what that means, man. Talk about Camel. I love their song Echoes. Okay. So if you could elaborate on that, that'd be great, man. All right. So let's think a good place to start would be the song Mudshark by Frank Zappa. It talks about the Edgewater Inn. So here's lyrics from the actual song. The origins of the Mudshark are as follows. There's a motel in Seattle, Washington called the Edgewater Inn. The Edgewater Inn is built on a pier. So that means that when you look out your window, you don't see any dirt. It's got a bay or something out in the backyard. And to make it even more interesting, in the lobby of the aforementioned motel, there's a bait and tackle shop where residents can go down whenever they want to and rent a fishing pole and some preserved minnows and schlep them back up to their rooms. Open the window, stick their little pole outside, and within a few minutes actually catch a fish of some sort that they can bring into their motel room and do whatever they want with it. You know what I mean? Now, in this bay, Now, in this bay, there's quite a variety of fish. Not only do they have mudsharks up there, they've got little octopuses that you can catch, octopuses. And all these denizens of the deep can come in real handy. Let's say you were in a traveling rock and roll band called Vanilla Fudge. Let's say one night you checked into the Edgewater Inn with an 8mm movie camera, enough money to rent a pole, and just to make it more interesting, a succulent young lady with a taste for the bizarre. Let's start. So that's kind of like a foreshadowing of what we're going to be talking about today. So let's start with the biggest rock and roll band that basically started rock and roll and rock star fandom, the Beatles. In 1964, during their first world tour, the Beatles stayed at the Edgewater Hotel, newly completed for the World's Fair. At the time, no other hotel in the city would accept the Beatles as guests. However, the Edgewater happily welcomed them. Beatlemania so consumed Seattle that the Edgewater had to install cyclone fencing around the hotel to keep the screaming fans at bay. Some fans even tried swimming across Elliott Bay to reach the Fab Four. After their concert, the Beatles were rushed back to the hotel in an ambulance, while taxicabs and stand-ins were used as decoys. During their stay, the band famously fished from the window of their suite, and the photo of which has become legendary. Right on. I hear thunder. Make sure we're still connected. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, and this is the big story, and this is the article that's the funniest. It involves Led Zeppelin, and I wanted to read this one last because I think this is something that you guys will find pretty interesting. All right, here he goes. It's called What Really Happened with Led Zeppelin and the Mudshark, and this is at loudersound.com. You can look it up for yourself. Was it a fish or a shark? Were Led Zeppelin really involved? Did it even happen at all? 47 years on, the most infamous groupie story in the annals of rock and roll has finally been substantiated by a first-hand witness. Carmine Appice, legendary drummer for Vanilla Fudge, Cactus, Rod Stewart, and many others, reveals the truth behind what has become popularly known in Led Zeppelin lore as the Mudshark incident. In his just published memoir, Stick It. For those new to this particular sordid episode, here's a brief recap. While staying at Seattle's Edgewater Inn in July 1969, having shared a bill at the Seattle Pop Festivals, members of Led Zeppelin and Vanilla Fudge and their respective entourages are alleged to have pleasured a willing groupie with a fish caught from the local bay. It was a story that was first surfaced in public on Frank Zappa's live album, Fillmore East, June 1971, which contained a humorous ditty called The Mudshark. We already read that, so we're going to keep on moving. The whole affair gathered traction in the mid-'80s with the publication of Stephen Davis' unauthorized Led Zeppelin biography, Hammer of the Gods. In it, the band's road manager, Richard Cole, says that he and John Bonham caught a number of fish from the window of their hotel room, the Edgewater being directly situated over Elliott Bay. Davis then describes how one girl, a pretty young groupie with red hair, was disrobed, tied to the bed, and according to the Legend of the Shark episode, Led Zeppelin then proceeded to stuff pieces of shark into her vagina and rectum. I don't know if I believe this. Vanilla Fudge singer Mark Stein supposedly filmed the entire thing on a Super 8 camera. Cole's assertion that the groupie loved it. It was nothing malicious or harmful. No way. She might have been hit by a shark a few times for disobeying orders, but she didn't get hurt. Doesn't make it any more palatable. Oh, the Beatles from Seattle? Okay. I'll look that up after we're done reading that. Thanks, Donko B. Appreciate that, man. The incident was revisited by Cole in his own book, 2002's Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin Uncensored. Word about the escapade spread quickly, rumors circulating that the girl had been raped, that she had been crying hysterically, that she had pleaded for them to stop, and that she had struggled to escape, that a shark had been used to penetrate her, but none of these stories were true. And that's from Led Zeppelin manager Richard Cole. Much of the mythology surrounding this drama is down to the fact that Cole has a reputation for bending the truth for the sake of a juicy yarn. Referring to the Hammer of the Gods, Robert Plant told the NME in 1985 that Cole's recollection of many events was permanently distorted one way or another after years of booze and drugs, adding that he got paid a lot of money for talking crap. Similarly, much of Cole's autobiography was dismissed as nonsense by Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. Jimmy Page being the guitarist, John Paul Jones is the bassist for Led Zeppelin. All of which makes Carmine Appice's account especially intriguing. It's a testament to the salacious appeal of the Mudshark incident that it's already elicited plenty of column inches in the American tabloids. And a fair few over here. First of all, a lot of people thought it didn't happen, that it was just an apocryphal thing. Like fake, more for like a legendary story than a real, says Ian Gittins. Appice's co-author on Stick It, but what Carmine has done is give it a complete chapter in verse. He was sitting right on the side of the bed while it was going on, and he wanted to share it. Despite leading in some ways a dissolute life, Carmine has never really been a big drug taker or big drinker, so his memory is intact. He can remember things in excruciating detail and is an unusually fertile source. The other major account is by Richard Cole, who, by his own admission, was off his head most of the time, probably on drugs or drunk. He doesn't have a clear memory of it, and he's prone to exaggeration. If anything, this report is more disturbing than Cole's. According to Appice, he hooked up with a girl a day earlier, during which time she'd perform oral sex on him in his limo. The following afternoon, she called in at John Paul Jones' room at the Edgewater, where Jones, Appice, Vanilla Fudge bassist Tim Bogert, plus Plant and wife Maureen were hanging out. Appice had previously told that Mark Stein had camera gear, prompting her to rush in and declare, "I want to make a movie with you guys." She was, noted by the drummer, very high. So everybody was basically on drugs. So you're probably not... We'll see how it goes. Gathering was swiftly gate-crashed by the boisterous party from next door. Namely Cole, Stein, Zeppelin roadie Clive Colson, and Fudge road manager Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. Before too long, the groupie lay naked on the bed, bucking and screaming with pleasure as Cole started whipping her with the Mudshark. So Cole whipped her with a Mudshark. All the while, Stein's camera was rolling. I haven't read this yet. The original group decided to take their leave when Cole and Wayne shoved the thrashing animal inside her. We had the door open and there were so many people in the room when it was happening, but she didn't care. Appice tells Classic Rock. She got so into it and was so shocking to us that we all started hysterically laughing. Sometimes that happens when you're confronted with such a freaky scene. Richard and Bruce were doing their thing, with Mark trying to film it, but the rest of us filtered out into the hallway laughing our asses off. All right. This is funny. Okay, we're going to keep this going. This is great. All right. Laughing our asses up. Okay. Appice, looking back, points out that you have to understand that those days were so different. It was all peace and love and women walking around with no bras and see-through blouses, and it was a really crazy time. Birth control pills were just coming out, and politically and socially, everything was different. It says much about the public's appetite for such stories, what Gittins refers to as the whole outlaw aspect of being a rock and roll band on the road. That this particular tale had withstood the decades, and several conflicting variants. However lurid it might be, it's also cushioned by an enduring nostalgia for what is generally viewed as the golden age of rock. These are different times for sure. But there remains a solid market for, as Gittins put it, an element of guilty reading. But these things happen, Gittin says, says, and the fact that attitudes have changed doesn't mean that what happened in the past goes away. It's good to have them written down as a solid reminder of what shouldn't be allowed nowadays, I suppose. Oh my God. All right. Meanwhile, those waiting for filmed evidence of the Mudshark incident shouldn't hold their breath. Mark Stein claimed to have passed on the film to Bruce Wayne, after which it disappeared. It's long gone, confirms the piece. A friend of mine, Latter-day Cactus bassist Randy Pratt, bought the film, or was told that it was the film, and there was nothing there. It was too old, he couldn't develop it or do anything with it. There's an interesting, vaguely redemptive postscript to this entire business. I started doing these weekly radio shows in the States a few years ago, a piece explains. One time we were talking about Fairbanks, Alaska, and this person called up claiming to be the woman. She actually spoke to my friend, the DJ, on the morning show. Let's face it, you've got to be either the woman or out of your mind to make that claim, but she said she had moved to Alaska, raised a family, and lived happily ever after. As a piece writes in the book, I wish her well. Believe it or not, she was a very nice girl. A very nice girl that apparently had a Mudshark rammed up her private parts and slapped while she was tied to a bed by Led Zeppelin. There's no video proof that this happened, but accounts say that something of the sort happened. It's also been told that Frank Zappa stayed there, and he regularly would catch mudsharks and then try to keep them alive in the bathtub. There's rumors of that. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Frank Zappa. Oh yeah, here we go. In 1998, Frank Zappa released his compilation album called Cheap Thrills. Track 7, titled The Mudshark Interview, recounts a conversation with the Edgewater where the front office manager describes how guests used to frequently fish out of their guest room windows. Sharks, squid, and octopuses regularly wound up in the hotel rooms. At the time, you could even rent fishing equipment and buy bait out of the hotel gift shop. Frank allegedly partook in a legendary fishing excursion from his window during his stay, keeping a mudshark alive in the bathtub. And here's a list. They got a list of, on the website, they have a list of people that have stayed there. Hello, Web Connect. How you doing on Instagram? Donko B, we will talk about the Beatles in Seattle. Well, Donko B, okay. A long list of legends that stayed. Since the Edgewater opened in 1962, a long list of musicians has called it home. Here are just some of them. The Rolling Stones, Elvis Presley, Stevie Wonder, The Monkees, Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison, the Mamas and the Papas, Ray Charles, the Supremes, Willie Nelson, Blondie, Kurt Cobain, the Jeff Beck Project, Emmylou Harris, Jethro Tull, Lou Rawls, Neil Young, Rod Stewart, The Who, Vanilla Fudge, David Bowie, Johnny Cash, Chris Cornell, Iggy Pop, and Alice Cooper. National and international artists continue to visit the Edgewater when touring through Seattle. Notable guests have included Catherine McPhee from American Idol, Macklemore, The Cure, Harry Connick Jr., Jewel, R.E.M., Def Leppard, and Train. All right, that's pretty cool. Mudshark. I do forgive you, man. I do forgive you. Mudshark. What's up, Joe? Yeah, dude. I had this idea. I wanted to start a podcast, and I didn't know what to talk. I decided to talk about rock and roll stories because I just kind of find them interesting, and there's so many to talk about. And yeah, basically, I talked about how the members of Led Zeppelin fished at the Edgewater Hotel in Seattle, Washington. You can fish out of your room. They caught a mud shark, brought it in, and then they basically slapped the mud shark on a naked groupie and tried to pleasure her with it. And there's no video evidence if it happened or not, so it's kind of hearsay, but it's a cool story. All right, and then Donko B wants me to look up. Look up the Beatles. Camel. Seattle. The Beatles are from Seattle. No, they're from Liverpool. I forgive you, Donko B. I don't. Is there a song called Camel by the Beatles? I know Pink Floyd wrote a song called Echoes. Are you thinking about Pink Floyd? Camel Sunshine, Camel Toe come together. I see nothing. Are you talking about Camel Dances? Get back to me, man. Oh. There's a cover band called Camel. A Beatles cover band, Camel. Beatles cover band. Let me see if that's what you're talking about. Hold on. I forgive you. There's a thunderstorm. Yeah, the Humps, Camel tribute. Oh, Camel Echoes. Okay. Camel Echoes. The retrospective is compilation. British progressive rock band called Camel. It was released in 1993. Okay. I'll have to watch this first and learn about it, but I can. I'm gonna do this every Monday at 5:30 Central. So if you want, I can do like a recap if you want to come in next week. I mean I don't really have a way of like broadcasting the audio, and also that's like a copyright infringement thing, so I can't really broadcast audio. Thank you, Camel. I mean, thank you, Donko B. I'll take a look in it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do this every week. Basically talking about rock and roll stories. I'm really excited about next week. I'm gonna be talking about a really notorious guy called G.G. Allin. He's in the punk rock community, and he was probably one of the most insane rock stars that there was, and he did a lot of crazy stuff. So next Monday, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, I'm going to talk about G.G. Allin, and I'll make a note. I'll write down Camel Echoes by Camel, and I'll listen to it after this, and I'll do a brief recap about it. I promise, man. I'll look it up, and I'll even reply to your texts after I go off the air tonight. Thank you guys. Yeah, I'm going to try to do this every week. The Mudshark podcast, rock and roll stories. I'm going to try to do it live so people can chat with me. I know, dude. Yeah, G.G. Allin is a douche. But his story is amazing. His story is really... He's an idiot. By far, I don't want to like talk too much about what I'm going to talk about. He's a complete moron. The things that he did were disgusting and vile, but it makes a hell of a rock and roll story, and that's what I'm going to talk about next week. And I'm going to try to, every week, I'm going to bring up a new story. So if you guys could, if you're on Facebook, please like, share, comment the post, like the page. If you're on YouTube, I really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and then hit the like button on the video. Instagram, like the live stream, follow the Instagram page. Twitch, follow me, whatever you're on there, because I'm gonna do this every week, and I'm gonna try to do it live. If I'm like doing something, or if I'm busy the day of the podcast, I will pre-record it and set it as a premiere, and it'll be at the same time, and the chat will be going on, and I'll be able to text you guys as I'm going. Like sometimes, like if I'm on vacation or if I have a gig, I'll do that. Or like with a family member or something, like like the regular life stuff. But I'll try to do it weekly. G.G. Allin is a big douche, but that's next week's topic. Monday, 5:30 p.m. Central, next week. I'm also in a band, and we're playing a lot this week. So if you're in the Austin, Texas area, please come say hi. Wednesday, August 4th, we're playing at Blind Pig Pub on 6th Street, Dirty 6, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Thursday, we're at Parlor and Yard on West 6th, Austin, Texas, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, we're going to be at Buckshot on Dirty 6th, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday, we're at Stagger Lee, which is on Rainy Street. That's actually pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that gig. And then Sunday, I'm going to be doing a solo show at Salt Lick Barbecue in Driftwood, Texas. Yeah, man. Donko, where you at, man? If you don't mind me asking. I'm sure you'll text me in a second. But yeah, let me know where you're at, and then we'll try to get up there. Eventually, I'd like to tour. We got music. Let me put up a link for you. Anybody that's looking. There you go. I just sent you a link. That's basically that's all our music. That's all our music. You can download it for free. All you got to do is you can listen to it, stream it on the website, or if you want to download it and put it on your phone so you can listen to it like with earbuds in, you can just put $0 and you'll be able to download the track. It's set up for name your own price. I'd rather people have my music than have them pay for it. And Spotify royalties do not pay out very well. Like for like 1,000 plays, you might get $3 or $4. So I always send them that way. I'd rather them get my music for free, and if they do choose to tip me for it, that's their business, and I'd thank you for that. Once again, you're in California? Cool, man. Yeah, I got cousins in Santa Monica. We could book some shows there. I don't know what part of California you're in, but yeah, definitely, man. I'd love to branch out and get out of Texas. We're in Central Texas, and I feel like we have a lot of fun here, but like it's time to branch out and get some new people, new audiences, meet some new people, new bands, see the world. We'll see America first, obviously. Like I don't have the money to. I've never even been to Canada, honestly. I live so close to Mexico. I've never been to Mexico, never been to Canada. I've only been in the States, but yeah, we'd like to tour around, and if we can get a show near you, I don't know if, like Southern California, Northern California, Central, we'll try to make it happen for you, man. Be sure to, if you're on Twitch, please follow us, like the stream. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Facebook, like the band page, like the stream. And just follow my socials. All my socials are down at the bottom. Facebook and Instagram at OREJAROCKS. If you got an idea for a topic for the weekly podcast, like a rock and roll story that you really want me to cover, email me at OREJAROCKS@gmail.com. And just tell me the topic of what you want me to cover on the podcast. And I guess that's it, man. I hope y'all have a great week. If you're in Austin, come see us at the shows I mentioned. I'll be posting show flyers on Facebook and Instagram very shortly this evening, and you'll be able to see those. I appreciate you. Have a good Monday. So see you next week, 5:30 p.m. every Monday, a new rock and roll story. Next week, we're talking G.G. Allin. All right.